I grew up playing rec ball with most of these guys. I went to school down the street, and we always got beat out of we never made it to the playoffs, so I always got to go watch them in their playoff games. I was at both those state championship games, and I always looked up to those guys. Great stories that both those teams, what they did, and came within an eyelash of beating West Rome in both those games. And I don't think West Rome had too many close games at all over that 4-year period. They won 4 straight state championships. And we're thankful that y'all are here tonight. Congratulations. I think Brian and Dwayne are going to say a couple words, right?
You asked us to, so.
Well, they don't want to hear me talk about y'all, so go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Brian Watts. I was a senior the year of the 82 team. Go back and try to remember some things that went on. I do know after the first 4 games, we were 2-2. And at Mary Persons, you don't lose 2 games in a year, much less 2 of your first 4. And we had a game at home. Right after that, game was a lot closer to halftime than it should have been. And needless to say, we came in the locker room and Coach Pitts chewed our hind parts pretty good. He told us to go back out and look at the stands. The stands were about half full. Nobody had come to watch that game. Everybody that night, he said, decided to go to Jackson to watch Robert E. Lee and Jackson play, because at that time, both teams were undefeated. Second half, totally different. We won by 3-4 touchdowns. I can't remember the exact score. But that kind of set a little fire under all of us. And one of the things he said was, from here on out, you can't play for us coaches. You can't play for your parents. You can't play for the stands. You got to play for the people wearing the same color jersey you're wearing. And that's what turned our season around. As we alluded to before, we did lose 3 games that year. We lost to Robert E. Lee, who was number 1 in the state. They beat us 21-14. Then about 4 weeks later, we met them in the region championship game. We beat them 14-12. Magic could run through the playoffs, and we got to West Rome. We lost the state championship game 7-6. Somebody missed the extra point. My bad, okay. You remember it? Yes. Okay, yeah, that was me. But going back and looking at some of the guys that were on that team, there was a guy that wrote for the Macon Telegraph. He wrote an article about us at the end of the season that said, Mary Persons made a lot from a little and nearly won it all. Only one team was better by 1 point. And I think it took us a while to get going, but looking at the talent we had, the 82, 83, 84 teams were some of the most talented teams that I've ever seen wearing black and gold. We had several guys from my senior class go to college and play. We had guys like Ronnie Smith, Georgia Bulldog, Rodney Walker, Carolina Gamecock, Lonzo Watson, Georgia Tech, Roosevelt Carver, who was in my class, Robert Alford, went to Middle Tennessee, Calvin Scandrett, Dwayne Brooks, and myself were all teammates at West Georgia College, along with Calvin's older brother, Dennis. So there were 4 of us from Mary Persons on that roster that 1 year. There was also several other players like Bay Calloway right here. He didn't get to go to college, but he was just as good a player as anybody we had. And relying on each other and playing for each other the rest of that season, even though we didn't win it, but that was by far, to me, one of my most memorable seasons. Thank you.
I'm going to try to make this short and brief. I asked Jim how long could I actually speak, and he said probably about 5 minutes. I said, well, darn, Jim, I got about an hour's worth. So, but I'm not going to keep you there, I promise you. All right. Well, good evening. My name is Dwayne Brooks, a.k.a. Billy Bob. I don't know, some of the people here know me as Billy Bob. Nobody ever some of the people never knew my real name, okay, but Coach Pitts gave me that name, okay? All right, I was a quarterback from 1982 to 84, one of the 3 captains of the 1984 team. It's an honor to stand here in front of you tonight and reflect on what made the class of 1984 football team so special, okay? I want to talk to you about 3 types of players, okay? You may recognize them. Maybe you were one of them, and hey, no judgment, we all had our bad days, okay? First type is the guy who wants to play football, but just enough to show up, do the bare minimum, and still somehow expect a pat on the back like he just won the state championship. The second one works hard, shows up, puts in effort, plays well, but only when the lights are on or when coaches are watching. He's dependable, but only when it's convenient. The third player is the one who holds himself, everyone around him with the highest standard. He's the guy who stays late to run extra drills, studies the game film like he's cramming for the SATs, and pushes everyone to go just a little bit harder. He doesn't just want to play, he wants to win, and he wants the team to win with him. Okay? To me, the teams of 82, 83, and 84, we were that third type. Okay? We sacrificed, we worked, we earned it. While others were relaxing, we were putting in the reps. On the field, in the weight room, and in our minds. Okay? You might ask, how do you become that third player? Has any of y'all ever asked that question? How do I become that third player? There's one word that sums it all: discipline. Okay? Great athletes, great teams, mastered their focus. We couldn't control the referees, the weather, or the injuries that we suffered. But we could control how we prepared and how we responded. We trained our mindset to be ready for anything. That mindset, that discipline gave us the edge in tight games and tough moments. 41 years ago, a team was born. A team that became much more than just a football squad. It became a family, a source of pride, a symbol of our community. And for many of us, it became a lasting part of who we are today. We even had our own version of what we call quality control. Back then, if someone kept blowing a play on the other side of the ball, we would give them a friendly love tap. I don't know if y'all ever come out there and watched us practice, but if you did, if we kept blowing up plays, somebody from the defense would give us a love tap with the shoulder pads. It was our way of saying, hey, get it together. We need you, and it worked. Coach Pitts never stepped in. He never said a word. He'd wait till everybody got actually situated, and then the first words that come out, he'd run it again. And that's what we would do. Every game in 1984 gave us something, a great memory, or a tough lesson. Some wins we celebrated, some losses we reflected on, but through it all, we grew as a team. So, what did we learn from all of this? I feel as though all 3 teams learned teamwork. No one wins alone. Discipline to stay composed under pressure. Perseverance when things didn't go our way. And sportsmanship. Win or lose, we play with respect. And most of all, respect for each other and the game. As I close, I want to thank every player, every coach, every cheerleader, and every diehard fan who was part of this incredible journey. You made these memories what they are, unforgettable. And to the future generations of Mariperson's football, continue to carry that torch with pride. Even though I don't live here, I try to listen to Sports Mike. I'm in Aiken, South Carolina, so it's kind of hard for me to get back here, but when I have a chance, I listen to a Sports Mike, and I try my best to listen to all of the games. Okay? And one last thing, just remember, you can't spell champs without MP. Thank you.
Can't let Dwayne and Brian get all the glory up here. Willie Frank Calloway, give him a hand. Calvin Scandrett. Michael Banks.